Well, howdy, Vault Hunters. How you doing? Today we're going to be looking at the news highlights on Borderlands 3. We're also going to be giving you out 10 keys on Borderlands 2, as well as some keys for Borderlands 3. So stay tuned towards the end. We're going to be going ahead and dicing out those so you can get some new loot. You're here at the MacGyver 7th channel. My name's Mac, and we're going to go ahead and start off with some really fun news, by the way. If you are a Steam fan and you want to go ahead and start downloading it, they have an option where you can actually do that. It's official. And on top of that, the situation goes down to the HotFixes of the 12th, but I didn't want to launch this video unless I had some golden keys for the community, for people that have followed. So let's go ahead and jump into the news, shall we? As we're here in the Matrix room of highlights, we have the two choices directly we can go into. As I alluded to earlier, you can definitely click on this links that I'll be having in the side of the situation, that they'll be also having some gold skin available free loot on Steam up until the April Fools of a situation, so make sure you get that before you get fooled out of not getting some pretty cool stuff if you transfer over. But now looking at the hot fixes, let's go ahead and bring that up and see what's changed. There are some general fixes that we have right over here for as far as the report concerns on the Typhoon to sometimes potentially blocker in the shadows of the starlight. An issue has been generally fixed, hopefully. If not, leave a comment down below. I'm always curious to hear what the community has to say with their plays and logs in on the Borderlands. And there's a lot to be had. The game's freaking awesome. But looking at the situation for the report concerns of the Jabbermog, the sometimes situation where not loot coming out in the correct rate. Not getting that correct rate is not going to be a fun situation because you're not going to be getting the rares that you're looking for as far as following up on those. So it's good that they address that drop loot situation. Looking at the situation where the characters now come into play for as far as the general fixes that come into the issues that were incorrect values being listed, you can see that the gunners, they were directly affected for the general winters and the minigun damage penalties on top of the chiral penalties. Adjusting for as far as the gunner exploding in the bullets, the skills to match the current and damage output, which sometimes were higher started in the skills description. So it was like this big wish-wash of what the hell was going on and very topsy-turvy, but I'm glad they're hammering out a lot of that stuff. For as far as the Beastmaster and the Furious attack, the skills were not as well-rounded as they were looking at. For as far as the description and damage and the output, now should be very well addressed inside that situation. Now looking at past that, as we dive down below, and add to the situation of location rebalancing, we have one last thing to look at the Beastmaster for the Hunter's Eyes. The skills were, yet again, in the situation of the incorrect fields. So, look forward to having a little bit more tuned situations. Now, the adjustments that were basically able for as far as the 13th on PC, Steam, Epic, and the platforms of PlayStation, Xbox One, Stadia, and Mac have all been intertwined on the Borderlands world. Pretty cool. You can play this on Mac. I did not know that. That's amazing. If you play it on Mac, leave a comment. How is it? I'd very well be interested to hear how the gameplay is on that. Looking at the situation for as far as what they had, the various areas and the side missions that should match average levels of the players very accurately now. The enemies in Anvil should now match the average levels again for the players, so they very well brought up the tuning of the organicness, and that's one of the things that personally myself I always enjoyed about Borderlands was the simple reason that you got this really bold experience that leveled up with you. It was this very organic feel if you were playing with many or few. It had this whole like Kaioken of difficulty that followed you, which was really great. Now we got the weapons that are making the list. The sickle in the first situation of the concerned reports of the prefects and sometimes not receiving the buff, the last hotfix. So I mean, this seems like a very unique issue for people that were like very favoritive of that gun, and I can definitely see why this would be a nice patch for y'all. Now looking at the boomer and the increased damage, that's straightforward. As far as the Garcia, you're looking at the increased fire rate on top of the number of projectiles that are going to basically be hitting you rapidly fast and rapidly hot. For as far as hot hellfire, the damage also increases on top of the damage over time. So your DOT is going to be dropping like it's hot with a lot of mount. So looking at the hyper focus on the X, you're going to give it to them a little bit more harder with the increased damage. Now looking at what the weapons follow down below are a lot of increased damages, as you see Nemesis and Link Tiny Fink in the field, and the Nimble Jack, increasing the damage, but on top of that, getting a 100% bonus on top of the criticals for as far as what they're able to have on the damage. Now, as far as the Orgy, you have the increased damage, 1 pump chump, and then the Rosa and Thorns, and the Saw Bar, and on top of the Saw Bar, getting a times of when the projectiles split to be sooner. So it's going to be giving you a little bit more edge for as far as the widespread you'd be able to get with that. As we come down to the bottom of the list, we look inside the situations for as far as the extra projectiles on the C scale, and then the Tanksman shield for as far as making the list on top of the situation for the maximum damage to the cap of 200, as well as the percentage that your damage will be able to be awarded for as far as the kills. But I think it's time for some golden keys, don't you think? So let's go ahead and pull up what I got so far with the Shift Corps and start with Borderlands 2. And you can have these redeemable before we're going into the awesome keys of Borderlands 3. Alright, for the first set of codes, redemptionable point in expiration. Make sure that you redeem these by the end of the month. You're going to have 5 keys in your hands for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Now, I had a really great viewer reach out to me last time and said, the Xbox was not working, and I definitely have seen where the shift codes on this have, sometimes they have been 100% accurate, but it's at that 99.9%. The guy's not perfect, but he definitely does follow up on it, so I can also follow up on it too. So you can always drop a comment down below. Let's get to the next set of 5 keys. As you can see, it's just hidden down below. And there you have some more keys, and again, these are console specific, so make sure you enter these in again before the end of March 30th. And hopefully that date is extraordinarily accurate. This is where I'm getting my feed from. But let's get to the Borderlands 3 keys, shall we? And there you are, Vault Hunters. Enter this key in before the end of the, well, pretty much morning on March 16th. Just do it before that. Do it by Sunday. If you're watching this, if you're my community, or if you're new, you get keys. But all right, everyone, that should be pretty much everything I got to bring to the table for as far as Borderlands gaming news. If you're new to the network, you can always like, share, and subscribe. Helps me absolutely free as a creator. All my content you can watch. And if you do today, who knows? Maybe Craig will actually give up his psycho career and start, you know, peddling flowers. That'd be kind of funny. Not really, I don't know. That'd be interesting. But anyways, have a nice one, guys and gals, and I'll see you in the near future. All subscription humor aside, thank you for your time, and I'll see you later.